I was in the Memphis International Airport about a month ago waiting for my flight. I found out that the flight was getting delayed for an hour, so I decided to go have a seat in the terminal and watch the planes take off and land. And I remember seeing this one enormous jet that was 2 stories tall, front to back, and I turned to the pilot next to me and I asked him, "What kind of plane is that?" And he explained to me it was the Airbus A380. This jetliner is kind of special because it is the only double-decker passenger plane that flies, and it's also the largest airline carrier. And on Airbus's official website, this plane is 562 tons, yet it can shoot up the runway and go into the sky like it doesn't weigh anything. And I thought it was really interesting to me to see how these heavy planes were able to take off and fly through air like it's weightless. So I looked into the student pilot's flight manual, a manual that the Flight and Aviation Administration hands out to prospective flight students, and it explains everything that pilots need to know, or if you just want to know how planes work. So looking through the manual states that there are 4 forces that act on a plane during flight, 4 major forces. These 4 forces are on this paper here. Now, each of these 4 forces are acting against each other or opposite to each other. They point in all 4 directions. So the first force that I want to talk about is lift. Lift is the most important force that acts on a plane. Lift is the reason why a plane is able to take off or maintain a level flight. Lift is created when wind passes over the wing and is able to push the plane up. The force acting opposite to lift is weight. Weight is gravity's force on the plane pulling it back down to the ground. These 2 forces, in order for a plane to take off or maintain a level flight, to maintain a level flight, lift must equal the force of weight. If the plane is taking off, lift must exceed or be greater than the force of the weight. The next force I want to talk about is thrust. Thrust pulls the plane forward and is provided by the propeller. It sucks in air and pushes the air back. And opposite to thrust is drag. Drag is the friction that is on the plane, that is when air hits the plane and creates friction. These forces are either equal to if the plane is maintaining a constant speed, or thrust is greater than drag to accelerate. Now this is an airfoil. This is a side view of a wing. According to Bernoulli's theorem, the wind or fluid is at a lower pressure the more it travels around an object. So the wind here goes all the way up and over and back. This, according to Bernoulli's theorem, states that there is less pressure on top of the airfoil. Now the air going underneath the airfoil is just a straight stream. That means that there is a higher pressure on the bottom. That means that there's more pressure on the bottom and less pressure on top. So the higher pressure will push the airfoil, by extension the wing, and the whole plane allows the lift force. So in conclusion, this plane is able to fly because of four forces. They act opposite to each other. Thrust and drag are either equal or thrust is greater than drag. Lift is equal to weight or greater than lift.